good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to part 6 of Keep, Sell or Loan. Today we're now doing fullbacks, and we've got a wonderful guest. We've saved the best to last, you see. That's just how we work it. We got Steve, the Aussie Gooner. How you doing, mate?
Going good, bro. Going good. Can't complain, man. Seriously, it's good out here in Australia. I hope it's good out your way, and hopefully Arsenal can continue the good form that they're in.
Yeah, exactly. Big up to Luke's already in the comments. Even again, yes, I've literally just finished the stream an hour ago, so I'm back already. Big up to you and saying hello to Steve, and Tony's already here. Yes. There was a situation on the last stream that your name was mentioned, and thankfully there's no kangaroos or spiders in the background. Basically, we were talking to G, and there was his cat going off in the background. the conversation started turning onto cats, and then Tony mentioned about you having possibly your pet kangaroo in the background. It was crazy.
We don't have pet kangaroos out here. Yeah, they're not. Everyone thinks kangaroos are friendly. They're not. Like they're a wild animal. And if you walk over and say, "Would you like something to eat?" they're more likely. So you want to have a go? It's like, no, he's something to eat. A fucking crack. No. I want Tony to come over to Australia. I need him here. I want to show him all the things that are Australian that he would love to see. Can you imagine him? Like, he could even stay at my place, and he'd be waking up in the morning just scared shitless of what the fuck I've set up. And that would make a wonderful stream. I'm telling you, the views, the subs, the torture of Tony. That's what I'm going to call it.
Tony's loving the idea by the sounds of it. But yeah, it was a funny stream earlier, and your name got mentioned, and we had to say it. You teased me with Yes, if people don't know, there is a WhatsApp group that we're all in, and Steve loves to share the wildlife of Australia with us.
It's just foreplay. It's just foreplay, Tony. It's just foreplay. That's just the
But as you can tell, the Armoury is a big, lovely family, and we all love being part of it. And I needed to get Steve on a stream. We've done the Canadian. We did Moss on Sunday. I need to try and get Steve on here somehow. So this is why we're doing it so late, because it's early morning for Steve, late for me. Well, it's not too late, but it's 9 o'clock. But yeah, I needed to do Steve a stream as well, and he's had fullbacks, and to be honest, it's probably the biggest talking point, because obviously there is big rumours about Tierney, so we will get into that. But there obviously quickly is an intro before we get into it. Okay, why has that gone blue? Has that gone blue for you, or just me? Oh, there we go. It was just me. Right. There we go. Right. It was just me. Yeah, it was just weirdly for my reason. It was on blue. Right. We've got. I'm going to have to go full screen. So comments, I do apologise. I'm not going to be able to see your comments. Right. We're going to start on the left-hand side, because right-hand side is my side. I was a right back as a player. So for me, that's the number one spot. Right. We're going to talk about Zinchenko. We're going to compare these stats with Tierney as well, because that is the important factor on this. And the stats kind of back up why Tierney may go. I'm not saying he is, but the chances are he will be leaving. Right, so Zinchenko, 26, signed him for 30 million. Current market value is 29. This season he's played 27 games, 1 goal, 2 assists, average rating of 7.02. Obviously his Arsenal career is the same. Defending stats, ground duels 1, 2.7, 64%. Aerial duels won 1.7, 73%. I believe he's in the top 20 in defenders for that as well in the Premier League. It's crazy considering the size of him. Passing stats, which are very important for the way we play, and this is where Tierney, you'll see his stats there, but we'll get into him in a minute. Touches per game is 80.7. His passing accuracy is 88%. Now, with Zinchenko, how impressed have you been this season with him?
Well, the thing is, this is a problem with people when it comes to Zinchenko and the way they rate him. He's not a classic left back.
No.
So people would be like, that's not my left back, because he's not playing the classic left back role. Impressed? I am very impressed, because he's playing that inverted winger that invert. You know, he's playing that inverted left back. Really, he's a left wing back who's cutting in left, right, and center.
Yeah.
What he does for our attacks, what he does for our defense, and the way we play is just beyond. Watching Zinchenko play and pulling wingers out of position and midfielders out of position so he can open up play on the left-hand side and then become part of an overload on that left-hand side is just great to watch. That's something that I haven't seen from Arsenal in years. Usually we've got either a left back and a right back who's useless, or one right back who's decent, left back who's fucking useless. Now we've got two different types of wing backs, and Zinchenko being the guy who's a ball carrier, who's the kind of guy who'll take a player on, who doesn't do too badly in defense when he's more of a player moving forward. I'm impressed by his characteristics. I'm impressed by his energy, his positioning, his awareness. I think he's been a bargain signing for Arsenal. This has been one of those signings where people would think, oh, it's not bad. It was a very good deal because that left-hand side has really opened up, and not just that side, actually, the midfield has opened up as well. So yeah. I think, and not to say that it's only Zinchenko, but after really watching how he plays, I can understand why we are playing with that type of a left wing back or left back.
Yeah, 100%. I just think he's been brilliant. I liked him at City, but I love his characteristic. He just wears Arsenal's badge literally everywhere. He's just so proud to play for us, and I love that, especially when he's come from City. You kind of don't expect that really from. I don't want to call them a bigger club because they're not, but more successful in recent years to then come to us. And the fact that he just loves it, so happy here as well at Arsenal. So I'm happy. We'll quickly go into the keep, sell, loan, but I'm pretty sure we both know where we're going with this one.
Yeah,
you're keeping. Yep. Yeah. Okay, we'll
move.
No, we'll move on to Tierney. Sign him for 24. Current market value of 26 million. This season he's played 28 games, scored 1 goal, 2 assists, average rating of 6.79. In his Arsenal career, he's played 115 games, 5 goals, 14 assists. Now, this is where it gets a little bit dodgy for him. Ground duels 1, 0.972%. I expect that from a left back. That's what I was very good at, ground duels. Aerial duels 1, 0.1, 14% he wins. 0 errors. Passing stats, again, this is where it looks really bad. Touches per game is 22. Passing accuracy is 78. It kind of speaks volumes for the way that we play. As a left back, he's fantastic. Exactly. But we don't just need a left back. He needs to be able to do other stuff. I'll let you talk about Tierney in your own way, mate.
Look, Tierney is a classic left back, okay? Yeah. And I rate him highly. Not a player that you throw out, but with the way we are playing at the moment, we do have a right back or a left back, right? And we've chosen who's going to be the one traveling. And when I mean the one that travels is the one that's going to be moving forward, the one that's going to be the ball carrier. Ben White isn't that kind of player. Ben White's a kind of guy that is a classic right back. He can run down the wing. He can run down the wing, overlapping run from Saka. That's about it. He'll hang out, but he's not a kind of guy who'll track in. So that's not going to be his role. It has to be Zinchenko's. Now, unfortunately, Tierney is on that left-hand side. The left-hand side is supposed to be the side of the creative left back. Unfortunately, Kieran Tierney is the classic mold of a left back. And right now, we're not playing that style of football. Now, most people would say, but he's a great left back. Yes, he is. But it's horses for courses. And if just because he's a great left back doesn't mean we need a great left back. We need a person who can carry the ball. We need a player who can pull midfielders and wingers out of their positions and open up space. We need a player who can be involved in an overload, not just bomb down the side and put an assist in, but effectively be part of an overload, be able to switch up play, be able to control the ball, put in decent passes into the box, and not to be out in the wing, but to be central as well. And that's the kind of player we need on the left-hand side. So this is why Kieran Tierney, unfortunately, when it comes to this position and this role, he hasn't got he doesn't meet the criteria. It's I'm not putting I love KT. I reckon he's a great player. I just think, unfortunately, with the way this position has evolved, it's beyond his characteristics. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I totally get it. Well, the thing is, I love him, but I know he doesn't fit our system, and that's where I have to go. Okay, sorry, mate, you're the person that we need to sell. Now, there's a lot of talk that he will be leaving, and if that's the case, then I wish him the best of luck, and I will still support him whatever club he's. I'm part Scottish, so I'm going to support him anyway. He's Scottish, but I will follow him in his career wherever he goes. Most likely, I would say Newcastle. Now, the question I want to ask you, because I hear a lot about it, and some Arsenal journalists are just doing him an injustice. How much should we sell him for? Now, his market value is 26. He's contracted till 2026, so it's not running down. How much would you want us to get for Tierney right now?
Just because Kieran Tierney doesn't fit our mold doesn't mean we throw him out in the market for nothing. Because he's going to be key to the success of another team, right? Like in Newcastle, any team really. He'll be great in any team that he plays in as a natural left back. I wouldn't want to take less than 45 or 48 million for Kieran Tierney.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now, the reason why is because, and this is the thing, I know he's always injury prone and this and that. I understand that. But if you're going to be looking at Kieran Tierney and you're serious about buying Kieran Tierney, then you understand that he does get injuries. But there's a reason why you're still going and buying him. So if a player is injury prone and you've got people knocking on your door, wait a minute. Wait, he's an injury prone player. Why would you come knocking on my door? Obviously, he's a decent player. Yeah. So that still puts up his price a little bit. If Kieran Tierney wasn't getting injured, it'd be more than that. But because of the injuries, it's going to come down. And with the market, the way it's just continuously evolving, every year players are getting more expensive. Kieran Tierney cannot leave Arsenal Football Club for £30 million. That'd be stupid. We got to turn a profit. And I hate to say it that way. We got to turn a profit on a player that we have. And just as much as he's played for Arsenal Football Club and done great for Arsenal Football Club, we've supported him in his injuries, and we have developed him somewhat. He's actually starting to move a little bit like Zinchenko. So the next team that gets him doesn't get the first version of Kieran Tierney. They get the newer version of Kieran Tierney. And I think it would have to be high 40s for me. And I do believe that a team like Newcastle United would pay that. And I do believe most teams would be interested in that sort of a player for that kind of money. And don't get me wrong, there's always wheeling and dealing and trying to get it down a couple of mil. Yeah. But we're not starting the chit chat on Hector Bellerin fucking prices, if you know what I mean.
100%. Because what I've heard about the Arsenal journos, they're coming out saying, 35 will be more than enough. And I'm like, not on your Nelly. Minimum, just because I know how the market is, minimum 40.
There you go.
Anything above that, I'm happy. But minimum 40, I'm not even listening to anything under 40 for Kieran. Because for me, exactly. And I always put 50% on top of his market value. So that's 39. So 40 for me. Minimum. But are you going to, what would you do? Would you sell him this season just because the fact that he does not fit the system? And obviously we are linked with fullbacks as well. So
the reason why I would sell him this season is because there's no point holding on to a player who's not going to be playing, especially when now's the time we can profit here. Now, Arsenal haven't been a team that sells and makes a lot of money.
Yeah,
we need to change this. We need to be able to bring players in, and then maybe they're decent, maybe they're not. But when we turn them out and we send them out into the world of fucking Premier League football to another team, we can't lose on them. Gabriel Jesus came to Arsenal for 50 million. They went and bought Haaland for 50. That's business. You know what I mean? That's business. Yeah. That's what it's like. We got him for free, and he's worth this much. I want us to be able to be wheelers and dealers as well. And it's, again, this goes to the business sense. I think Kieran Tierney, which it doesn't matter what team he gets into, he is going to be an important player. He's going to play a very big role in that team's success. Now, if he was a Maitland-Niles, if he was a player of that quality where he's just not up there and it doesn't look like he'll get there, different story. We've seen what he can do for Arsenal Football Club when he plays as a straight left back. And we all say he should have been our captain because of his performances. So that means the next team that he goes into, those performances, if they're looking for a straight left back, those performances are going to have him highly regarded. And to sell him for 30 million, are these guys on crack?
Yeah.
No. And with a contract that long, no. If we're not going to get 40, and look, I want at least 45 to 48 million. If we're not going to get at least 42, 43 million for him, then he stays, and I use him for depth. I'm not taking less than that. I'll be happy to sell him for 30 million when he's only got 1 year left on his contract, but not when a contract is that long. No.
100% agree. Totally agree. Right, let's move on to the right backs. We'll start with Ben White, due to the fact I might shock people with what I'm going to do with Tommy. So we're going to start with. I'm going to try not to say that now. I'm going to start with Ben White. We signed him at 50. Current market value is 36. Honestly, don't care about the drop. It doesn't matter. we know how much we overpaid for Ben. Let's be honest. But anyway, this season he's played 36 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, average rating of 6.98. His Arsenal career is 73 appearances, 1 goal, 3 assists. So obviously it's all been this season. Defending stats. Ground duels won is 2.6, 59%, which is decent enough. Aerial duels won 0.9, 43%, which shows he's improved for his aerial because that was something that people picked up last season about his aerial. Passing stats, hugely important for Ben here. Touches per game is 68.2 times, passing accuracy of 86%, which is sublime for a right back. What's your opinion on Ben this season?
He's turned a corner in his Arsenal career. Started off shaky, out of position, funnily enough, and he's reborn as one of the best right backs in the Premier League. Happy that he's not rated by the English manager. I hope he can do the same with Saka and all our players, because I don't want any of them on international duty. So well done on that. But I think Ben White has really. I think Ben White's the kind of player right now who's jumping for joy that he's got this new role as right back. I don't think in his mind that he ever thought that he'd be playing right back for Arsenal and that the whole point would be centre back. And I think the way he's transitioned into a out and out right back or right wing back, because he's going forward so quickly. I'm very impressed. Most players to be taken out of a centre back role, especially his size, to bomb down the right hand side and to have the kind of speed that he has for his size, I'm very surprised by that, because that's literally going onto FIFA and changing a player from an attacking midfielder to a defensive midfielder and waiting 3 weeks on your FIFA. That's what happened with Ben White, and I didn't think that was possible. Centre backs for a centre back of his size to go from being a right centre back to being a right wing back, that's big, because centre backs usually aren't the best on the ball. 90% of the time, they're not the best on the ball. They're good at blockers, defenders, positioning, and they can't wait to distribute, but they're not good at carrying. Ben White this season showing me he can pass, he can carry the ball, he can take on a player. Attack-wise, he's been great. The overlapping play between him and Saka, every time you overlap Saka is finding him now. His runs got better and better every game, and we've all seen it. So I think, to be honest, this season, this is the season that we wanted. This is the Ben White that we wanted for 50 million. This Ben White, not the previous season. And I think now we're starting to see the worth in paying that kind of money for Ben White. Maybe a little bit too much. But I know everybody's looking at Ben White right now and saying, you know what, as a right back, he's decent as a right back. And to be honest, I would like one little thing from him is that his aerial duels to get a little bit better. I think when it comes to winning a header, it's still not good enough for me. I think for the player of his size, he's still a little bit weak. But again, that comes with week to week, Ben White's getting better at Arsenal. So.
Yeah, 100% agree. And what I would say is I'll have to big up Leeds here, because at Leeds, this is where he played, was a right wing back and a right back, whilst he was loaned from Brighton. So big up to Leeds, because I did a show last year picking the England squad, and I said that this guy should be the right wing back for England, because I just think he's so talented. And funny enough, now he's become a right back, and I think I was proven right. There's talent in there. I don't think he's a centre back. If I'm honest, there's just something missing about his game. But right back, wonderful. He's no Lee Dixon for me. He's always my ultimate, but he's definitely impressed me at right back. Definitely, and totally agree with your aerial duels. He's getting better, but he still needs to improve. It needs to be more than 50% if you're right back. So let's move on to Tommy. 24, signing for 16 million. Current market value is 24. Played 32 times this season. I don't think we won't see him for the rest of this season. Hope you get well soon, Tommy. Assists 2, average rating 6.77. Played 53 times for Arsenal in total now, just the 3 assists. Ground duels 1 is 1.5 per game, 65%, so that's very good. Aerial duels 1, 0.8, 46%, still kind of needs to improve for me. 1 error, we all know what it is, but let's move on. Touches per game. Now, this is where it very much differs to Ben, and which is why I'm going to go with what I'm going to go with. Actually, I do need to ask you a question. I forgot to ask you. Touches per game is 27.2, passing accuracy of 83%. Now, before I ask you about Tommy, we do need to see. I'm getting against you're going to say keep with Ben because I forgot to do that.
Oh fuck no! We're not going to get rid of our starting fucking right back.
Yeah. It's only because I need to fit it out, and I haven't.
I saw 22 million. We're listening to offers 22 million for Ben White. We're going to take a heavy loss.
Jeez. Right. What are we going to do with Tommy? What's your opinion about Tommy this season? Have you been impressed by him?
Okay. Tommy this season, unlike the last season, hasn't had much game time in my eyes, but I understand why. When he has been put onto the pitch, he's been put onto the pitch cold. So that's one thing that worries me. A player that doesn't get much game time, when he gets on, that's when you see him a little bit shaky, the errors. He was a player that doesn't miss a header, doesn't lose an aerial duel. When he last season, he was gun. This season, struggling. And I think that's because of game time. But the other concern is the injuries. Last season, around the same period, same time, with more games under his belt, injured. I think he was injured 2 times last season. And now we have another injury to a player who really hasn't featured too much for Arsenal. So when I see that injury, I think to myself, come on, how can we possibly have a player like you injured now when you're not playing that much football? And that concerns me. I rate him as a right back. I think he's decent. I like the versatility. I like the idea that he can play centre back. He can play on the left if he has to. So it allows me a player that can move and chop and change. For the kind of money that we would get for him, I would probably keep him. And the reason why is because of the versatility. I don't want to go into the market looking for a backup left back and a backup right back straight off the bat. I wouldn't mind to hold on to him for another season and see how we go. And if it ends up that he's injured again, that's when we'd have to probably see it later, Tomiyasu.
Okay. People are going to be shocked with my answer now. I'm selling him. And there's a reason why. We've got Raw Waters in the background. We've also got Norton Coffey, which we will talk about in a bit. He's having an outstanding season at Coventry. He's gone from one step to another step, and he's just still looking better and better. He's a big, strong lad. We've also got Raw, and who can play centre back and right back, and he's been doing amazing stuff at Arsenal as well. So I think we can probably afford to sell him. The money will come in handy. We won't actually have to spend anything. I think we can just promote one of ours to cover Ben, and I think they're good enough. Everyone knows how much I love my youth at Arsenal, but I honestly do believe we're strong enough in the right back position to cover selling him. So that's my opinion. So I'm going to sell him to Tommy, but you're going to keep him. And I totally understand. It's like 2 different. There's nothing wrong with your opinion. There's nothing wrong with my opinion.
No.
We view the game differently, and I just think for me, current market value of 24, I'd be quite happy to get over 30 for him. Raise Norton Coffey or Raw Waters. It's costing us absolutely nothing. We've got £30 million we can spend on someone better. So I'm happy with that. Oh my word, there's a lot of comments that I've missed. I do apologize. Like I said, I can't see them because I'm on full screen. So I'm going to quickly go back before we go into our kids. I do apologize, people. I hate being on the full screen because I can't see anything. Maybe I didn't notice him so much at City, but he's good. Yeah, a lot of people said that, and we've got a City fan that works with Full Time Sports Network, and he actually said to me, as a City fan, he can't defend. I totally disagree because his aerial duels says he's like one of the best in the top. He's in the top 20.
He can defend. He can defend. I've watched him do some bits in defense. Last line of defense, shit. I've seen him do, so he's not that bad.
Yeah. Luke's keeping Zinni, Tommy, White, and Tierney. But if Tierney says he wants to leave, then I will reluctantly sell him. Absolutely fine. I wouldn't hold it against KT. Exactly. I love the fact that people are not going to hold it against him. Evening again. Big up to you, Brenny. Hope you're doing well, mate. 70 million, please. I'm guessing that was that for KT?
Okay. KT. I'd take 70 now. I'd take 70. I'd give him a case and 70.
Yeah.
Mate, give me the 70. Here's a case and Kieran Tierney. He'll come to you guys with B.
Luke saying if it's Newcastle, then I won't accept any less than 60 million. Chelsea got, well, yeah. To be fair, I don't know what happened to Cucurella because I rated him. And
it's what happens to every player that goes to Chelsea. It's where they go to die. Look at the players they got in there. They all, that's a great friggin' team, and it's friggin' struggling. Unfortunately, Cucurella, he'd be lucky to get like 11 million for him now. 11, 12 million. He's been shocking.
Yeah. Brenny saying I would only let Tierney go if we get a top draw left back in 70 million. Well, I think it's going to be one of these versatile players that we'll be looking at. So let's watch this space. As Moss says,
Tavares coming in too. Don't forget, Tavares is out on loan.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him because people might be missing something on Tavares, but we'll get into that. Kivior, let's take that off actually. Kivior was playing left back. Yes, Kivior is adaptable. So can Gabriel. Gabriel can also play left back. A lot of people forget that. He's very talented at left back. Big up to Arsenal forever. Hope you're doing well. No, I have actually got it on the next tab. I'm keeping an eye on it. Just so, as Moss has said, we are 2-0 up on the night against Bayern Munich. If people can keep me up to date, I'm more than happy for you to do. Because obviously we finish in about 17 minutes in that game. So, yeah, if people can keep me up to date, that would be wonderful. Still hold on to that. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Let's try and go through some. Marnham, good effort. Blah, 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 blah. Let's try and get Ben White. Has shocked me, yes, in a good way as well. So that's the good thing. We haven't had a left back like Tierney since Ashley Cole, in my opinion. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't. Ashley Cole wouldn't be able to do what we're asking of him now because he's a proper left back.
Exactly.
He just wouldn't have been able to do it. Luke saying he likes Waters. Yeah, I totally agree. He's a centre back and right back. So big up to Gracie May. Hope you're doing well. And Pyro Destiny, what's up, lads? Right, let's talk about the first teamers that are out on loan. We'll very quickly cover Cedric. 31 years old, played 4 times for Fulham. I think he joined in January, though, if to be fair to him, didn't he? Did he join in January or did he? I can't remember. I can't even remember when he went out on loan because I don't really care about him. Did he join in January, I think? He's played 4 times.
I can't even tell you. He's played 4 games, yes. Injured?
I think he has been as well. I'm pretty sure. But his contract runs out, as far as I can remember, next summer. What are you going to do with him? You're going to try and get some money for him this summer? Because I can't see it either saying keep on this guy.
No. Anything we can get on Cedric Suarez. There's no way he's going to play any football for Arsenal. So. You know when they say dead wood? Yeah. Unfortunately, we got him in as a Band-Aid solution. We no longer need the Band-Aid. We've healed up. He's got to go. So, unfortunately for Cedric Suarez, or fortunately, he might be able to go on to another team, maybe make an impact. I don't see it, but he's got to go because actually, Cedric Suarez, this was Fuad's guy at one stage. He's my right back. He's my right back. I guess this guy couldn't defend to save his fucking life, mate. He's useless. But, okay. Now he's off, and I think every Arsenal fan right now haven't missed him. Like seriously, none of us have missed him. Cedric Suarez, is he still in the books? That's pretty much the sort of the
Yeah, I don't even want to see how much we're paying him because I just want him gone. I just want him gone out of Emirates. We'll move on to Nuno. Right, because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, we should be giving him a chance next season." No, we shouldn't. He's 23. He's played 32 games for Marseille, scored 6 goals, 5 yellow cards, 1 red. The reason I'm saying we shouldn't keep him is you can see the average rating is 6.58. Yes, he looks great going forward. I've always said he looks a great going forward left wing back. Cannot defend for love nor money. For me, sell all day long. But I'll let you have your opinion on Tavares, mate.
Look, when it comes to Zinchenko, he's a kind of guy who goes forward, not too bad going back. Tavares, just like you said, goes forward very well. Forget about coming back. Defensively, he's very weak and shaky. And the stats look good. Oh, he's got goals and this and that. I understand that. But from your left wing back or from your left back, if he scores a goal, that's great. But at the same time, you want him to be able to at least be able to try and track back and defend. I found that his positioning was always wrong. I found that the passing at Arsenal, he'd always make the wrong pass. He would always put the ball under pressure. So instead of switching up play, he'd pass to Gabriel, put him under pressure, and then the ball would go back to him, and then it's done. I hope that he's moved on from this. But the French league is one thing, the Premier League is another. We had Pepe there. We got him. He struggled here. So if we can get good coin for Tavares, if we can get good money for Tavares, I'll be listening to offers. The only reason I say good offers is because going forward, a lot of teams will be interested in that. And in France right now, he'd be highly rated. They'd look at him and think, you know what? We could use a player of his caliber. Attack-wise, you can't knock him. So to be perfectly honest, I would be listening to offers as well.
To be honest, he should maybe reconsider his position, just go for a left winger, because you don't have to defend as a left winger. Because honestly, he looks so dangerous going forward. I've seen him score some sublime goals at Marseille, and he looks great in the final third. But that's not where he plays. So
no, it's so wrong, isn't it? It's just so wrong. It's like he's cutting in. It's like, do we have another left winger in Nuno Tavares? Who's covering the left? Who's covering left back? Oh, it's fucking Xhaka. Oh, there's a big hole in the midfield now. Cheers for that. And that's Tavares. But I just think, I'm right. I reckon you're right. Left wing, a left midfielder, a left winger, he'd play great. He makes Trent Alexander-Arnold look good defensively. Okay, this guy. So, you know what I mean? Like, wow. So, yeah, I think we have to. I reckon because of the season that he's had in France, now's the time to cash in on him because we'll recoup some of the money.
Yeah, totally agree. I was going to go into Luke's comments here. Selling both Cedric and Tavares, the recent reports out of Marseille weren't positive. No, they haven't. They're not really positive about him. At one point, I was hoping for 25 million plus, but now we might do to get 15. How much would you want for Tavares?
Anywhere between 20 to 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want less than that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let it. 15 million, there's no point.
No.
15 million, there's no point to get rid of him.
Yeah. Luke said he's seen Marseille quite a few times this season. Yeah, so have I. And even with less defensive responsibility playing at left wing back, he's still hopeless. He is. And I know that you said earlier, I don't know why we bought him. I don't know why we bought him. There you go. Absolutely no. I honestly, the scouting report was really good about him, but I have not seen any of that, what we've seen, why we bought him. So it is what it is. Right, let's go on to our youth. Now, Steve, I know I'm going to be totally fair to you. You may not know any of these players, but we'll go through them as quick as we can. James Sweet is a right back. He's actually Welsh. He's played 7 times for the Premier League 2, 1 goal, 1 yellow card. Highly thought of. Not sure how much of a career he has at Arsenal because obviously we've got Norton Coffey and Will Waters ahead of him. So I can't see where he's possibly going to get in. Obviously, do you know anything about these kids at all?
No, not these guys.
Right, no worries. So what would you do if you got Norton Coffey and Raw Waters ahead of you? What would you want to do with him? Would you want to sell him? Would you want to loan him out and just give him a chance to prove himself?
It's loan. When we're talking youth, it's loan.
Right.
The reason why I don't like everyone's like, sell this player, sell this player. Look, youth players, if they're showing promise, if we can get them out on loan, second tier, third tier teams, it's a positive for us because if they can develop and look, let's be honest, our youth system has been phenomenal in nurturing some of these players. And when it comes to any sort of younger player, 19, 18, 17 years old, as long as they're showing potential, I think Arsenal Football Club are going to be first to be like, let's see if we can get him. Let's get him out there. Let's learn him. Let's see if he can progress. Let's see if he can further his career away from Arsenal. So when he comes back, he can be the player that we want him to be. And we've seen that with players like Saliba, if you know what I mean. Sent him out on loan, came back. Now he's the Rolls Royce, and that was, don't get me wrong, an older player. But that's the same thing. It goes for younger players. So I wouldn't, when it comes to youth, unless if I know more about them, I can make a real good judgment call. But when it comes to youth, I'll be the kind of guy to say loan,
Okay,
because you've got too many players ahead of you. I don't want to see these poor young fellas sitting there on way back on the bench when you've got players of a certain caliber way ahead of you, and rightfully so. These players have developed quicker, they are stronger, they are better. So unfortunately, if we let these guys stay at Arsenal, how are we going to improve their skill set? We're not. So we have to let them go on loan as long as we can get decent deals for them where they're gonna play. So that means they're not going to a team where they're gonna sit on the fucking bench and just make up numbers, because that's pointless. If they're gonna go on loan, I want these players to go on loan where they're gonna get some football. That's the biggest. I think it's most people don't understand that. It's like, oh, he's on loan. There is loan to sit on the bench, and there is loan because the team wants some depth. So they get a player from Arsenal sit on the bench. If we need him, we'll use him. He's a body. And then there's a loan where we're going to actually be using him every 2 weeks, every week. So,
yeah, 100% agree. We'll move on to Henry Jeffcott. He's mainly a left back, can actually play centre back as well. So that's quite handy. Obviously, Steve's going to say the same. Doesn't know much about him. There's a little bit of promise, but again, he's got an issue with the next guy that we're now going to talk about, which is Lino Sousa. Absolute player, this kid. We got him from West Brom. Highly thought of. I do need, and obviously me and James at the end of the season will talk about the youth in more depth than we are on these shows, just because we're talking about keep, sell and low. We're not actually going in depth on these kids. I do need to see if Lino is adaptable. Like if he's just a proper left back, then I can't see much of a future with the way that we play. But he is so talented. He's played 16 times for the Premier League too. He has been on our bench a couple of times as well. A lot of people, even Luke has said that he's like the look of Lino Sousa. Very highly rated. Have you even heard of Lino?
No, I'm 100% honest with you. I haven't.
No. It's, look, I do this to show people what talent we've got out there. Like, there's 74 players I've done in total, all 6 shows, and it's not to say, oh, you're not an Arsenal fan because you don't know these kids. It's just to put them, showcase them, give them a bit of talking. And obviously at the end of the season, me and James will go in depth on all of these. I've given him 6 to talk about that are like 16-year-olds that are highly promised. One of them, his first name is Maldini. If his first name's Maldini, I'm excited. And honestly, we'll talk about him at the end of the season. But honestly, what I've heard about his tackling, just like a certain Maldini himself. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait, honestly. He's actually Albanian as well, so he's a tough cookie.
Good.
So,
right, they're nutters. That's great about them. I like that. That's what I like about the Albanians. They come in hard.
Yeah. So we're loaning both of these, Lino and Jeffcott?
Yeah. I mean, if they like, again, it's about development. Sousa, obviously, you've seen something in him. He's actually made the bench. Again, do you actually look? Let's be honest, right? If we get rid of Tierney, all right, Tierney's gone, Tavares is gone. The left-hand side now hasn't got really much depth anymore. Then maybe Sousa might get a look in. He might be third choice. So maybe you could hold on to him. But it all depends on that player who comes in and takes Kieran Tierney's position. And or Zinchenko's, because don't forget, just because you're in a starting line doesn't mean you can't be replaced. So
exactly. We're looking at spending about 20 to 30 million on whoever Tierney's replacement might be, who will also be versatile. It's not going to be a specific left back. He is going to be a versatile defender. It won't be moving into midfield or anything like that, but he's going to be able to play in that position. So Luke's saying, don't mess with the Albanians. His name is just beautiful. The fact his first name is Maldini, I love it. He's Albanian. I've heard his tackles. You can hear 2 miles away. They're proper crunching tackles. So I can't wait. I hope he makes it, and I hope I get to talk about him more on live streams because I'm very excited by him. We've also got another one that me and James are talking about. It's called Kobe Small. He's actually a centre back, but his name's Kobe Small. I love that about it. The fact he's small, but he's a centre back. I love that. It's just funny. Right, so let's talk about the 2 that are actually out on loan. Okay. We'll leave Norton Coffee for last because that kid I'm looking forward to. Ryan right, I'm going to try and say this. Ryan Alabubusi. Busu. Sorry, Ryan, I cannot say your surname for Skidley Squat. You're 21. You're playing very well in Kilmarnock. That much I do know about you. Played 21 times. He's 21. Now, we've done these. This is the sixth part now. And we've always said if you're 21, 22, and we've never seen you, you're kind of getting to the point where you're probably going to be sold or let go. Now, obviously, with the other kids, you've said loan. But with bearing in mind his age, do you think that if we can get money for him, it's probably the best time?
That's exactly my thought. I'm the same. At 21, 22 years old, if you haven't made an impact at Arsenal Football Club, chances are you're not.
Yeah.
And again, yes, time to sell. Time to sell. If he hasn't, if we haven't seen any bit of him at the Arsenal, in the 11, at 21. When are we going to see him? At 25, 24? It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if we can get a decent offer, then out the door. And it's I know it sounds horrible, but we don't want players just to be hanging about, do we? We want players that are going to actually make an impact to the team. And at 21 years old, he's done. I think he's had his time at Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, 100% agree. We go from Ryan, but then we're now going to talk about Brooke. Now, Brooke is something different.
Yes.
He's been on loan at Rotherham. He's now on loan at Coventry, who are flirting with the playoffs in the Championship, so it's a good level. He's played 33 times this season, 2 assists, so that says a lot that he's a fullback and he's getting assists as well. Not too worried about the goals. I was a right back. I only scored from the free kick or the penalty spot. I wasn't a proper right back that scored goals like Lee Dixon. 7 yellow cards, so he's got a nice bit of a tackle, like a nice little bit of temper about him. That's enough. Have you heard much about Norton Coffee?
Little bits and pieces, not much, but only little dribs and drabs. Good upcoming prospect. Could make it in the Arsenal squad. But for me, I look and think to myself, yeah, from what I've heard, it seems good. But do I want him as my backup to Ben White? No.
Okay.
Not yet. As a number 3, yeah. Like my third string right back, yes. But the one thing that I have when it comes to youth, and especially as a defender, usually defenders, when they're like, if they're a 19-year-old prodigy or a 20-year-old prodigy, they come out all guns are blazing, and you see it. Wow, this is a defender, wonderful defender. Yeah. But they come out looking like Messi of the defenders. When they're slowly learning their trait at 19 and 20. They're not quite there yet. I don't think that he's going to be a player that's not going to make it at Arsenal. I just think that throwing him under the cosh at 19 years old to be back up to Ben White. Now, don't forget the way we're going. Champions League's around the window. Champions League's around the corner. I'm sorry. And can you imagine if Ben White got injured and poor old, get what I'm saying? He's under the pump. That would be detrimental to his career. So I wouldn't want to loan him, actually. It depends on who's going to come in for Tommy. I'd like to keep him on board at Arsenal and probably play him in FA Cups, Carabao Cups. Do you get me? It wouldn't be the second string. It would be him. And if it's not even as right back, I don't know how he would hold up as a centre back.
He is quite a big fella, but being
because I've heard he's big, but I don't know if he can play centre back.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to play a centre back, and I'm saying that as a right back. Right back and centre back are two very different things. I know it sounds weird because you're a defender, but I was never very good at a right centre back. I was very good at a right back, but when I was told to like just pull in a little bit and cover him, I was awful because my positioning was wrong. I tackle in a different way than the centre back would. I'm slightly more rash than the centre back. Centre backs like stand up a bit more than what I would. I tend to go in a bit more. So yeah, it's a lot of different stuff you got to learn, and I'm not sure if Brooke can do it. Again, like me and James will do that show at the end of the season. Again, it's something I might look into, but for me, I'm keeping him just because I believe that he is talented enough, and I think Raw Waters as well. And also, what we need to remember is Saliba can actually play right back. If God forbid something really bad happens, Saliba can play right back.
And you don't want to go there, but you don't want to go there, but you don't want to go there. You don't want to take your starting centre back out of position and destroy the whole defensive line because we don't have depth at right back. No. If we replace Tommy, and I hate to say this, as a defender, you know what I'm saying. Your defensive line, your starting lineup, your starting four in the defensive line are key. Taking them out of position just disrupts the whole defensive line, completely wrecks it. So this is why it's like, if we're desperate, it's good to have a player like this as my third look in.
Yeah.
But my number 2 to Ben White has to be of quality. If Tomiyasu is going to go, if that is, then the player that comes in has to be decent. And I don't mind if it's a battle. I don't mind there to be a battle in the rankings, but I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be a drop off. Ben White, do you get me? And then,
we don't want drop offs anymore.
No. And then Saliba having to come in to cover? No, it'd be outrageous. Arteta would be thrown under the bus.
Yeah, the person that is talked about replacing Tierney is capable of playing left and right, so that fills me a little bit of confidence. Because Kivior is adaptable as well, so he can go left. So there's things we can do, but we also need to remember we're playing in the big league next season, not the small league. We're playing the big league. It's Champions League. It's big. What I would say to this Shane Curtin is big up to joining us. Is Trusty any good? We have done the centre backs. That was part 1. We have got the show in there, but Trusty had a very good season in a very struggling Birmingham side. But for me, I always believe that this is a situation of we brought someone, going to add value to him, and then see you later. If I'm honest, that's what I've always felt about Trusty. I don't think he's ever going to have an Arsenal career. I don't think we'll ever see him playing for the first team in the league or anything. We might see him in the friendlies, but I think he's just here to boost his market value, to be honest, and we're going to sell him. Luke saying here, because I'm keeping Tomiyasu and promoting Waters, I am looning, but that's absolutely fine. Look, no one's wrong. Everyone has their own different views, and that's absolutely fine. But that is all the fullbacks. That is all the 6 shows. I am officially knackered. 74 players we've done now. But Steve, thank you ever so much for joining us. We obviously managed to try and find a way of getting you onto a show. No matter what, I wanted you on one at least. But Steve, where can people find you, mate?
If I'm not here at the Armoury taking over or in the WhatsApp group acting crazy, you guys will find me on the Aussie Gooner channel. You guys will see me on the Football Capital for sure. So if it's not the Aussie Gooner, my channel, it'll be on the Football Capital. I'll bounce around. You'll see me on One Touch TV, maybe from time to time on the terrace. I'm easygoing, so you'll see me around here and there. But the real channels that you will see me on is the Aussie Gooner channel, the Armoury, the Football Capital. I'm always available for those guys. And if from time to time, One Touch TV, if Nigerian Englishman can pull his head out of his rear end and actually put a show together, that'll be good. Because he's last minute FC, if you know what I mean. You don't want him as the last line of defense. He's going to let you down fucking 9 times out of 10, that bloke, right? He's probably asleep now, not even listening to what's going on, right? That's the kind of support we get from Nigerian Englishmen, right?
Oh, sorry, Nigel, if you're listening, mate.
The truth often hurts. Well, we're breaking this stuff down about the fullbacks. We're talking about the left backs. Oh, he's not good enough. Well, mate, we had to have a chat about you. We had to because we were talking about getting rid of Tom Yasu and getting rid of KT. I don't know about you, mate. We might be putting you up for sale. We'll take anything we can get for Nigerian Englishmen right now. We are listening to offers.
Oh,
he has to go today.
Tony's going to clip this and put this in our groups later. I'll tell you that now. Right, but just to let people know, I have put Steve's channel in the description as well, just so people can subscribe and check him out. Honestly, he does some awesome stuff. Luke is now joining in with the hashtag Niger out. This was Steve's idea, Niger. Don't come for me. Please do not come for me. This is Steve, not me. But really appreciate it.
If I show you guys the private chat, you're going to get to see exactly what we were discussing. So don't throw it all on me, right? Partner in crime.
But just to explain, people, the Armoury, we're all a big family. So we've got like these WhatsApp groups that we all just even Tony did. Oh, geez.
It's trending.
It's trending.
Oh shit. I was having a laugh. Nigel looks like they're getting rid of you, mate. Shit. Oh no. Well, Nigel's going to be homeless.
But we're all a big family. We all just banter each other, and it's good for fun. But we actually do we all get on, and it's just lovely, big family here at the Armoury. But I will be back tomorrow at 7 to do a preview with a Leeds fan called Jord from Sports Carnage, and I'll be back on Friday to do another Armoury preview, just the Armoury lads. So yeah, you'll catch me. And then on Saturday, I do want to say, because Moss is able to watch the Arsenal game, so Moss will be joining me on the score on Full Time Sports Network. So he'll be commentating on the Arsenal game whilst I do what I do, and just keep updated with the other scores. So please check that out on Saturday as well. But big up to everyone. Big up to Steve. Big up to Luke and Tony. You're all going to get me into trouble because I know Nigel might come for me in the WhatsApp group in a minute. Not my idea, honestly, I promise. But guys, really appreciate it. And as always, from now on, forever for me, it's always come on, you Gunners. And I will see you all very soon. Take care, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.